The Crash Report is intended for mature audiences only. If you are going to act like a baby, please turn this podcast off right now.
Yeah, that looks great.
Hey everybody,
I can
welcome. Welcome to a completely technical difficulty-free episode of The Crash Report, formerly known as The Trash Cast, and I want to say hello to everyone at home and everyone there in the chat, all three of you, and wow, what a week it's been in local news, am I right?
It's been crazy, Matt.
Yes.
And can you expand on that?
A lot of stuff's been going on. People don't know what to think or feel with all the events that are taking place. There's a lot of uprage. What was the fucking thing?
Upset?
There has
There's
been
a lot of
there,
upset.
There's
a lot of upset.
A lot of upset.
There's been a
Yeah.
lot of upset from multiple
I also feel
parties.
What Austin? What would you say?
Oh, hey.
I don't know. I was saying there was also a lot of upset.
Outrage.
There's
Okay.
a guy last night tried to get a ride off of me, but he talked at me. He didn't talk to me, and I kept walking because it was almost unclear if he was even talking to me. And then he gave up and he walked away with his friend.
Well,
That's a
I
great
was
story.
trying to get Austin to talk so I could check your mic levels. It seemed like Andrew was real honking loud, but hey, I said no technical difficulties tonight, and I mean it. And you know why no technical difficulties tonight?
Why?
Because we're celebrating.
That's right.
Oh,
Yes. So we have hit 50 supporters on Patreon, and I am one of the Patreon goals was to hit a certain amount of dollars, and then we would start. I'd start paying the people who help work on the show, and I gave Andrew and Austin their first paychecks this week.
yeah. About time I started
gonna
raking in the
retire.
cash.
And Austin said, "Hey, let's take that money and buy ourselves some champagne to celebrate." So, let's open our celebratory champagnes.
Cool. I've never had this before. It is Percocetto.
And
Percocet,
Andrew's really nervous about how to open this.
As you can see, Matt. Okay, I'm grasping the concept. All right, I'm ripping it open.
Yep, he's ripping it open.
I'm ripping it and tearing it. What the fuck is this thing?
Oh wow, that was what the
Begin.
hell? And
This looks like a-
I said it'll be really good for the show if Andrew can try to figure out on camera how to open it.
This looks like an object that I would place inside of my body.
A little easier than.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
fuck!
just-
It's just a twist off. What is all this
Oh,
bullshit?
hey.
It's
Yes.
just-
Is it meant to look like? Is it?
Nope.
Is it a?
Well,
It's supposed to
fizz.
look like a cork.
It's supposed to look like a
I guess
cork,
so.
and
I've
you
never
can also
had
see
one of these because I've
it's
never had 50
it's
Patreon.
beaded to represent like the fake. I'm trying to autofocus on here, but it's beaded to represent the sort of fake twist tie chain
Yeah.
wire metal stuff.
They
that's
fooled
usually.
me.
Yeah, I
They
was really
really
hoping that we
fooled
could
me.
get a big bubbly pop. Can
Yeah,
we get a
me
pop
too.
sound effect, Austin, to simulate opening the?
I don't have the iPad hooked up right now.
All right.
Was that good? Could you hear
I
that?
didn't think it worked that well last time.
Austin, listen to this.
Hey, there we go.
That's good.
And there's already an argument in the comments. I'm not going to. Well, I'm gonna move on from that one.
I've procured myself a nice little glass. Oh, the glare is insane. It says "Cheers" and it has little sparkles on it. I'm gonna
That's
pour
great.
my-
And I
before
also
my-
have my own celebratory vessel.
Ah!
And for listeners at home, Andrew's screaming because he did too many bubbles in his cup at once, and the bubbles scared him.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it got so
Double OD.
close.
And I am gonna take a sip of Myers Clean Day celebratory
clean
sip.
out, to clean out the COVID from your system.
Hey, if it's good enough for our president, it's good enough
That's
for
not
me.
bad.
No, this is not bad. And I don't have a vessel, but I am going to drink it straight out of the bottle.
That's the cool guy way to do it. All right, fellas. Cheers to you at home for
Cheers, and thank
500
you.
Oh,
Patrons.
cheers.
And if you would like to become a supporter, head over to the link there. It's all over the place, all over the video. As little as $1 a
Whoa.
month can help this show continue to sustain itself. And I will say, you know, we have rebranded recently, and we're changing some of the format and some of the content slightly. This week
We're doing only mukbang videos.
Yes, last week I started working with Nick Dubay. Does anybody remember Nick Dubay? Nicholas Dubay of the Mental Health Survival Guide, formerly of North Volume Media. The show did go rogue and leave the network.
It went AWOL.
And Nick and I have been collaborating on a series of videos about different social services around the area.
Like getting your nuts tied.
No, that's not. Well, if you did it, that'd be a social service. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Bazinga.
It would be a civic improvement, at least. Isn't Nick in the band Model 95? Yes.
Yeah, so close.
He's in the band SR71.
Band.
No, you're Rachel. You are 2 digits shy of Model 97.
He's actually in the band SA2B.
And what is that?
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Okay, and
Sonic Furious 2 Battle.
no, we're doing stuff like Family Connections or the DSS, or you know, if there's different social services that you're interested in taking, and I do see your heart light, Austin, that you're interested in taking advantage of, or you know, you want to get you want to take part in these services and you don't know where to start. These are sort of like a Mr. Rogers style, hey, let's go to the place and meet the people and show you the process kind of thing to help alleviate the anxiety that can come with going somewhere new. But
Does
also
Nick wear
to
a
educate
mental
people
sweater?
on yes, but it's also to educate people on what the hell, you know, services that Clinton County has to offer. And are we drinking white wine?
Technically.
We are.
If this went flat, you could still drink it.
It tastes pretty bad.
Bubbly now.
Well, we are drinking it to celebrate 50 Patreon subscribers. And
I wanted to say too, if we get to 100, we all have to drink a whole bottle.
oh,
Of pee?
If I hold it up here, it looks big, but
Wow,
actually
whole
it's
bottle.
quite small.
Yeah, these bottles are pretty
This is the
big.
50 patron tier.
all
we
right.
earned.
And I do see that we all have our celebratory flair on. And for the viewers at home, I will describe it. I'm wearing my Joe Biden T-shirt. It's got Joe Biden sniffing some hair and you know, basically being the uncomfortable creep that he usually is.
Normal and healthy.
Yeah, normal. I'd say very normal.
Oh man, it was looking good.
Ugh.
And I'm gonna try to, and Austin's. I'll try to show my flair here. And Austin, your flair is. Did you steal the green cross from the top of the church downtown, the one that lights up?
Yes, I did. Last night, right before that guy asked me for a ride, because I was moving quickly, he probably thought he could get out quickly too, because he must have done some
And
no
when you
good.
said asked you for a ride, were you in a vehicle?
Nope, just my own 2 feet. I guess he was looking to literally get a lift.
Oh, like a piggyback.
Yes.
Ooh, that's fun. But go on.
He was wearing my short shorts so he could see my quads. He must have thought I could take it. But yeah, I climbed right up there. I scaled the church, grabbed that cross, which is as small as it looks, as you can tell. Mounted it to my head. And now I'm celebrating with you guys.
All right, and
Walked
Andrew,
all the way back to my house.
what?
Yeah.
And my other piece of celebratory flair is I'm wearing my girlfriend's sunglasses, and I think they look very classy.
They look
And-
pretty good.
Andrew, your flair, you do look like you are in a modern ska revival band.
Yes, but I also have this firearm.
All right.
I'm gonna burst a couple in the air.
And some cortisone cream.
In celebration. I do have some cortisone cream.
Oh, that
I'm kidding.
firearm.
It's a BB gun.
Okay, and hey, what a great show this is so far, and it is
This is the
time
best one yet.
to do the thing that we always do every week, right after we talk to each other and talk about how great things are. We do the news.
Hey.
Simon.
Do you need me to do another like little news bumper sound?
No, I'm playing
Game to go boom.
I'm playing the really good news theme right now.
Oh, okay.
And the news theme is playing. And I will say, if anybody wants to submit an even better news theme, please go ahead.
It's time for Trashberg.
Don't talk about that. Okay.
Look at that.
And Larry Dolan, I gotta shorten that news theme. So hey, did anybody hear about the parking lot on Durkee Street being closed?
Did I?
The Durkee Street parking lot's closed. Oh
The
no.
song of the summer.
Well, it's actually the lot on the at the intersection of Durkee and Broad. So it's the parking lot. I am so distracted by that lamp. It's actually the parking lot that's on Broad Street where the auction house is, next to the gaming store and the yoga studio.
The gaming store. Yeah, I'm familiar.
But where the auction house is. So yeah, so they're doing some construction there. It will be closed. It closed earlier today, or yesterday actually, and it will be open again on September 1st.
No
So,
time at all.
Don't park there. Don't park there. And did anybody notice? And this is in the news. This is the news. Did anybody notice how hot it was this weekend?
I realized how hot it was.
No, I didn't wake up since 6 days ago, whatever that was.
Oh, okay.
So I've been asleep. So today I
Understandable.
felt how hot it was.
Okay.
Which is
Austin's
Monday.
taking depression naps to a new level.
Although I guess I must have been sleepwalking last night.
When that guy tried to jump on you.
Yeah, I thought that was. I guess I'm just blending dreams and reality. Maybe it was all a fever dream because I was so hot.
That could have been it. Yeah, you do
And I-
refuse to have AC in your house.
I did choke
Yeah, I
on my
think it's
white
the devil.
wine.
I
So
think
it
it
was-
takes your soul.
It was actually it was in the 90s. It got
Yeah.
but
I like the '90s.
I like the 90s. That's my favorite TV show. No, but one thing that was
They were
funny.
okay.
So the Press Republican printed some tips on how to deal with extreme heat, and one of the things they said is that you should avoid strenuous activity and exercise, especially during the sun's peak hours of 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is understandable. I'd say if it's really hot, don't wear yourself out with extraneous activity or exercise. But it also says you should exercise between 4 a.m. and 7
Caution.
a.m.
That's
You
when it
should
says we
exercise
should
before-
exercise.
You should be exercising between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. And as much as I understand what they're putting out there, how many people do you know would get up at 4 a.m. to exercise? That
That's why I
aren't
can't
Well, I
Navy
get up at
SEALs.
3:30. Rub the sleep from my eyes. Take an icy cold shower.
Icy cold.
And then at 4:01 a.m. is when I start doing my heavy squats.
Then
And I'm not alone in that.
Squats.
You're not alone?
No, I know that there's got to be easily in this chat, if we've got 19 people, there's got to be 12 more people who are like that. It's a silent majority.
Matt. That's why Austin has a big, fat, juicy ass, and you're rocking that plank you call.
Yeah, that's probably why that guy could spot my ass from a mile away and shout at me to give him a ride back to Rouse's Point.
I keep my butt flat in tribute to Hank Hill because I think King of the Hill is a great show. And I think that Hank Hill is a guiding light for white America, and I keep my ass flat in tribute to him. You know, he's
It's like
someone
having a
who
flag at half-mast.
he doesn't understand modern life. He doesn't understand the world changing around him, but he does his best to adapt and to be a truly kind and selfless citizen, and he would give his life for his brother man.
Is that why you also wrap duct tape around your penis to also give you a narrow urethra? Like
Yes,
your
I
big
am
hero?
trying to narrow my urethra. I'm just saying he's
After
a
years
good
of
role
sounding,
model.
it's gonna be difficult.
He's a good role
He-
model for white guys and their for middle-aged white guys.
We got a full head of hair. I respect it.
Flat top.
Raindrop.
So and
Drop top.
another thing that happened this weekend, New restrictions on bars. Did you hear about this?
Oh God, did I?
New restrictions on bars. Does that mean Dust is out of a job?
Maybe
Yes.
someone.
Oh.
Oh, Bazinga. Oh
And
yeah.
if anyone doesn't understand, a bar is a line of lyrics in a rap song. That's called a bar.
It's not a musical term. It's not used in any other genre.
No, it's like it stands for. It's short for gold bars, which are bars of gold that you can bring to the Federal Reserve, and you can exchange them, for paper.
Oh, okay.
So now you need to order food if you're going to be serving alcohol. And then you need to if you're going to be buying alcohol, you need to also buy food, is what I'm saying, at bars.
Yeah.
What do
It's
people
fucked
think
up.
of this? You
I
said it's
want to give
fucked
it
up?
a thumbs down.
I think it's really extremely ineffective. I guess I support, like, I think shit's opening up way too early to begin with. We don't need to talk about that unless we get to it. But like at most places right now, they're just like, here's your small bag of pretzels, your technical like food order, and order whatever you want for drinks.
No,
It-
no, no.
It does
I don't
seem
know.
very ineffective to me, and I have seen everybody that's talked about it be very flagrant about how they are saying, "Fuck this law."
Yeah,
I
like
do agree things are opening up too early in some places. I don't know. Do you think that's the case in New York? Think things are opening up too early for us, Andrew?
I can only say for our local area.
So you think that China
I'd
Cafe
still-
shouldn't have been able to get back into business this week?
Hey, I support China Cafe as much as any other
When's the last time you
Person-
shopped there?
person like me. Last time it was open.
When was that? This weekend?
Oh, not last week, but prior to the COVID madness.
You actually go to the mall to buy Chinese food? You don't even have a car.
Yeah,
Who drives you?
I'll get. So we're starting to get into some questions that I don't feel
Grilling.
comfortable answering that. But no, I will go to the mall to get China Cafe, and I will happily leave with it.
Did I call it Chinese Cafe?
You may have called it Chinese Cafe.
I apologize if I did. I was trying to say Chinese food at China Cafe. I've never been there. I have no reason not to trust that it's a great spot, and I have seen some mouth-watering images posted by Nick Dubé from the food there. I have very bad memories of the, I want to say it was like a China Wok, I think is what it was called.
Flaming,
Oh yeah.
Flaming Wok.
Flaming Walk. Yeah.
What,
I have bad news for you, Matt.
what is Flaming Wok?
That is what China Cafe was called previous.
No.
to
I'm
becoming
talking
China
about I'm
Cafe.
talking about a different place entirely.
Oh, on the other side of the mall?
No, I'm talking about back home in Syracuse, New York.
Well, I don't know about where you come from.
All right, well
It
that's
was
what I was.
probably called.
That's what I'm trying to. It may have been Flaming Wok. It may be a chain. I don't think it was though. But either way, I worked next door at the Arby's in the food court, and the mall would make you put your garbage in clear garbage bags if you worked in the food court, and they would put their garbage in double bagged black bags, and they would bring it out. They'd have two guys bringing it out. They would walk both facing it, and they'd be each other's lookouts, and they would bring it out in a very suspicious manner. And I could only assume there were incredible health code violations going on there. And then on the other side was the Taco Bell, which was always rife with cockroaches and other infestations. So I've only had like the mall, the Chinese restaurant in the mall. I can only think of like the place with all the insane health code violations that was also getting Taco Bell roaches.
Oy.
I
And so
can see-
I've realized I've carried that like internal, like, trauma, and I have projected it onto China Cafe for no fucking reason at all. I actually just
Well,
like in
there's
the
also
last
that
week
place with the dog
there was
running
well
around the kitchen.
yeah, there was that place. What was it called? Pepe's Grill or something?
Yeah.
No,
I
Kino's Grill.
I think
Kino's
it's
Grill.
fair to think
No.
all those places are harmfully dirty.
Yeah, well, but I don't have any reason to believe that about China Cafe.
Like, I guess, if you're being generous, you could be clean until proven dirty, I guess. But does anyone
But-
really think that most fast food places and food court places are that clean?
I don't think they're that clean. It's just like, I don't know if I mean, what's the deal with the double bagging your garbage in thick black bags and having multiple men carry it out so that no one else can like, like, I don't know. That was very strange. Am I
Yeah,
right? Like,
I see what you're saying. It seems like you're becoming woke, Matt. You're acknowledging a bias that you have and how you're letting it
Right.
infect new areas for you.
right. Well, once I recognized it, I thought, damn, I need to go there when they open up, and they just have opened up.
Why don't
So
we go? We can go together soon, big guy.
also,
I'm
yeah,
willing to
Kino's
bet-
Grill. Kino's Grill was the place with the dog. They would keep a dog behind the counter. The
Yeah,
dog
at all
would put his
times,
paws
they
in the
had a-
food.
They had a
Didn't they
bullshit.
put something really offensive on the receipt once?
They
Yeah.
like they said something like for that, like, you know how they put
Bitch
your
with the
name on the
glasses.
receipt for your order? It said something like, yeah, the dumb bitch with the glasses.
Which is really funny to me. But also there are these.
That's only
There are
funny because
these-
you think calling women dumb bitches is hilarious, and I keep telling you you need to stop.
I said it. I meant it was funny. It's in reference to the little doggy that they had.
Oh, like a pun.
Oh,
Yeah.
my mom likes my shirt.
It's very cool, Matt. No, they also had that bogus. I mean, we're retreading paths that we've talked about before, but they also had those bogus like printout sheets that were frames right in front, like that was viewable by people ordering. That was like, we
Right.
have a certificate saying that we're allowed to have a disgusting, smelly dog rifling around in the food, and it's not a health code violation.
Well, they
When no
they,
such thing exists.
they closed
Rifling
down,
through the
but
burgers to find the perfect one.
even the comments telling us that the dog made such good burgers,
Yeah,
and it was
that's
true.
one there.
But hey,
Good boy.
public
Good boy.
public restaurant health inspector reports, those are public information. You can Google them. So I'm willing to
Yeah.
bet the China Cafe is in the green.
I'm not willing
and
to
it
bet
is-
anything, but
It's
Yeah,
it's
me either.
important to
only because
it's
I'm in
important-
recovery.
Today?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm in
It's
recovery
also
from
if you
gambling
are going
addiction.
to look if you're going
And
to look after
If you would let
uh,
me just finish.
and I just
and
but,
please go on.
Sorry.
Uh,
Okay,
You are
Austin,
Ro- Austin Petrovich.
can you guys hear me?
But
Am I breaking
to
up?
get to the point of the issue, do you think we're being too hard on the bars?
Well, first of all, New York is like 2 states. All right, the city. This is probably more for the city.
Don't get the flashlight.
I didn't want to get up and get sunglasses. It's the closest
Uh,
thing I can do.
Austin, that's not
think
what I
it's
meant.
Funny.
That's not what I meant by better lighting.
You mean you can't see me at all?
I'm sorry.
Please, can we get
No,
the
I
thought
want the
out?
people listening on the podcast app to wonder what the fuck is going on. So, New York City is nothing like up here in the upstate region, especially the Adirondacks. And if it's about New York City, I almost see the point. I feel like if I also I was thinking if I feel this prosecco's hitting me if you can't tell. If I say one thing, I feel like I'm gonna get smashed in the head with like a fucking mag light by some skinny rich kid who's on fucking dabs. If I say another thing, I'm gonna disappear into an unmarked van in the dead of night. But I don't. I actually see no real reason for this rule. Because
Cancelled.
everyone gave up their right to not gather in groups, as far as I'm concerned.
Austin, it sounds like somebody's knocking on your door. You might want to go check that out.
Uh-oh.
Can you expand what you mean? Everyone gave up their right to not gather in groups, or their right to gather in groups.
Like I'm not gonna act. Maybe I should. Maybe I should look out for my own safety and act like I have amnesia. That for most of June, every authority that was making us shaking in our boots said it was okay to gather in crowds of thousands strong, including in New York, all over.
Yes.
Like that was all of a sudden okay.
What did anyone actually say it was okay, or did they just say that we can't control these protests? Let's let it happen so they don't turn into violent protests.
I saw at least tacit support. Because, for example, the concept that, racial violence, racial discrimination is more of a threat to public health than coronavirus, for example. I heard that as a rationale.
And what do you think about the fact that people were, everything I've read is people are saying that they did not see a huge spike in cases following the protests?
Do you think, and not to lift the curtain too much, but pre-roll here, we were talking about how much can we rely on these numbers? How much can we rely on these authorities? And it's hard to have a nuanced conversation about this, even, without seeming like a fucking crazy person who deserves to get beaten up and abducted.
Right.
But do you think the people telling us, oh, that didn't do anything. Oh, what? That didn't do anything. Do you think that we should trust them as much as we trusted the people who said, don't wear masks, wear masks? That's like the millstone now. Is like, oh, people who don't want to wear masks say, oh, well, they've been flip-flopping.
Right.
But do you think that they have the credibility? Do you think that we actually have the credibility to believe the fucking media, who we hate when they say stuff that we don't like, but we love when they say stuff we do like? Like, we can't pick and choose to trust them.
Right. I can only really listen to what I've heard from people who are working in hospitals that have seen with their, I've watched online a lot of firsthand accounts, and also have talked firsthand with people who have been dealing with coronavirus patients in their hospitals, in areas that are more heavily impacted.
Like where?
My mom's house.
Because
like here, it looked fine. In Clinton County,
more
the Glassberg one looked fine.
Downstate. I don't want to name anyone because I feel like this is also just it's so sketchy. But yeah, it's like further downstate in more heavily populated cities, and also people like throughout like the South and Midwest. Like you can find people online just kind of like talking about, hi, I work at this hospital. This is what we've been experiencing. This is what I'm seeing. And I do believe that I do believe the virus is real.
And so the other thing about that would be everyone was going out to protest probably didn't. They were probably in a younger demographic who would be either, asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic.
Yes.
Might just have a lot of carriers who are going back to their parents' house.
And they start making out with their parents.
Like, to me, I see it as almost a quiet, delayed bomb. Like, we know there's asymptomatic carriers. There's asymptomatic transmission to some extent. So people who might have gone, maybe they were all 20 to 29, and they didn't really get sick yet. Now we're seeing spikes. Don't you think a couple weeks would be enough for one generation of transmission to happen, possibly? I think that's fair.
I guess I'll just put a little pin on it here, because it's hard to talk about this, but I will say I do believe that there is a virus. I also do believe that all media speculation and all numbers that are in the media are at great. It's very likely that they are completely made up or false or based on some sort of set of statistics that other numbers are not based on, and the whole thing is just a big fucking mess. And no, I don't think the media has any real credibility when discussing the virus and its impact on anything. I think they have no credibility to begin with when they talk about anything really. And so this is something that's so wide-reaching. It's a global issue. If you look at how they've discussed other global issues, it's always been extremely flawed. Just to answer your question, do I think they have the credibility? Should we trust exactly what they're saying? No, but I also have to say I feel completely overwhelmed and directionless when trying to understand what to think about it.
Yeah,
because I do believe that it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the virus is a hoax.
The way you feel, the way I feel, which is similar, the way a lot of people feel, which is similar to how we're talking about. That feeling of confusion and helplessness is an advantage to people calling the shots. Anyway. people with power, people in government. Not to get too tinfoily here.
Right.
What's the
You know what I mean?
what do they seek to gain by making people wear masks?
I don't think making people wear masks
Let's wind it back
a
to
specific thing they
this,
gain anything
this
from.
like order. You know,
Well,
I like
okay.
what Eve said in the comments of basically, yeah, if people are getting drunk and making out, and everyone has COVID, that's a problem. Okay, but it's a really, really dumb way to fix that problem. To mandate restaurants serve food to anyone ordering a drink. That sounds like
That's very
economic
stupid, yeah.
abuse to businesses.
Yeah. But
Because
Okay,
it seems like there's a lot of different things you could do
As
I
the
besides that specific, strangely specific mandate.
I keep seeing a lot of things from the and no maskers and the hoaxsters saying that this is all BS, that it's a form of government control and it's all BS and it's not real. And my only question is, what would a government seek to gain from these things? Except for maybe like benefiting from the death of a lot of local businesses and people.
I do want to move
Oh,
away
that's
from this
pretty bad.
topic, but I mean, if you want to speculate, what would a government have to gain from putting people in a state of fear and confusion, and also a state of extreme economic uncertainty? It's been illustrated many times in recent history and in current times, how it does create a sort of power vacuum and people can move in and take advantage of those areas. I do believe that those things can be exploited for political power and for control. And it's very hard to have any sort of unified anything when everybody is scared and confused and at each other's throats over something like whether or not they should wear a mask. It's that it's a divide and conquer sort of tactic, hypothetically.
Yeah,
Why,
but I guess
what would anyone have to gain? It's like, I mean, look at what people right now are unifying and fighting for. They're fighting to do things like decrease the power of police unions. They're trying to fight to, break up big banks. They're trying to fight to do things like, like oil drilling and, other, things that are causing ecological collapse. There are a lot of causes that, the working class has united to fight for or to fight against different things. And if you look at the people in control, they benefit financially and in other ways from things being the way they are. And what's a good way to make things not change? Well, don't let the people have any time to change anything. Make them so they're scared and confused and can't do anything.
I don't
we can't even.
see how that's been effective, because like the protests are still happening, and
Yes,
the
but what are they
changes are still
achieving?
being-
What are the protests actually achieving?
know.
Anything that the
Besides-
protests,
Besides exactly the type of like fascist clampdown that we're seeing and describing.
right? So a lot of protesting and rioting, it does put you right into the hands of the people who want to use your actions as an excuse for them turning up the fascism knob and saying, just in the past week, I've seen at least in 2 cities, federal agents in unidentified garb, there's no badge numbers, there's no nothing, scooping people up off the street and putting them in unmarked cars. Doing so because they say that there's a threat to federal property. And if you look at, dictatorships, that's how they run. So it's like, the protests have been effective in one sense, that it does bring light to an issue, but things like if you want to do things like actually break up police unions and change those things and change legislation, you're going to need to get out there and vote. what if voting is a thing that you're afraid to do because you don't want to catch the virus?
There's
You know,
that.
it puts the
That's
whole
what I was
thing into
looking
a state of
for.
constant confusion and disarray. It's just like, it basically, it just stomps on everybody. I don't, but again,
I feel like a lot of these people are watching, Infowars or whatever. I don't even know, like maybe Ben Shapiro or somebody like one of those kind of people that are so spicy.
this is a very different, but yeah, go on.
Same. I don't know. They're all. It's all political talk to me. They're all
Ben
the same.
Shapiro is much more moderate than Alex Jones.
They're, if you're, I don't know. I just know that they're big names that talk about politics. I just feel like they have their one. A lot of these people have their one source. The people that have maybe done their due diligence and understand these concepts that you're trying to explain, but they just kind of accept that and then spread the message without a really good way to back it up. All I was looking for was that's one really great example, is saying like I have seen a lot of things where like voting has been required to be in person, and there's a lot of people that are scared to go out, and they amazingly in 2020 we still don't have an easy way or like a standard way to do like internet ballots or something, because it could be corrupted or infiltrated or something like that. So I think that's a good example. That's as a response to my question of what does a group like a government seek to gain from this. But I guess there's all that stuff, but
It's not
but
you.
even still like
I think you'd have to define what the government is, and don't think about the government as a bunch of elected officials, but also think about the government as a sort of network that operates to shape society to the interests and will of their corporate overlords. Like, it's not like, oh wow, what is Senator douchebag gonna benefit from me putting on my mask and me being scared not going out. It's like, it's not about that. It's not about the government. It's about the people who use the government, who manipulate the government, who manipulate legislation to.
And how does that, I guess,
profit.
as an honest wonder, like how does that, which is something that I can agree with and see this the truth in, but like how does that trickle down into government control being like wearing a requirement to wear a mask is government control? Like that seems like that's the go-to example.
I think that's a thing for dumb people to argue about if they want to miss the point.
Because
Yeah.
I see tons of these posts, and
I
I'm
agree
not
with
sure
that.
if it's. I always want to be aware, huh?
Like, people are arguing about whether or not they should wear a mask.
You should.
Okay, that's what you believe. A lot of people don't feel that way, and they will fight you over it. And all that fighting has accomplished nothing. You're still a dumb, poor American trash person. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can, it's just distraction. Whether or not you should wear a mask is beyond the point. The point is giving the people something to divide themselves over. So it's like, it's not like the government wants to control us. They want us to wear a mask. It's more like, hey, here's a thing that we can just throw at them, and they'll play with that, and they'll fight each other, and they won't notice that, like, in the background, we're doing all this other stuff.
It's a very negligent but effective thing, because it really does separate us from each other anyway. Even if everyone wore a mask, it's not natural. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. And I think the reason a lot of people grab onto that is because they have to do it every day, and it doesn't feel comfortable for them. It's like, it's a real thing. Stuff like numbers. People don't care for numbers in general. People are not fans of numbers.
I know I'm
So
not.
counting the deaths and the cases and all of any cooked books or whatever or this or that, people don't care for that. It's abstract. It's not close to them. Putting on a mask in order to get screws at the store, that's real. And people telling them they have to do it or else is enough to ruin their day.
And that's enough to also create extreme political dissent.
Yeah.
It's basically, I mean, there are places where it seems like people are willing to go into war over whether or not they're going to wear a mask, or whether or not I'm going to wear a mask. Like, someone is willing to fight me if I don't want to wear a mask in public. Not and I
Yeah.
for the record, I do wear a mask in public actually, and I
Wow.
get a
Yeah.
lot of weird looks. I do.
I don't do it
I could-
outside, but
I do
I
it
do it
outside
inside.
if I'm around other people because I twice now
If I was in a
I've
crowd,
had
I
people
would.
like kind of be like, "What the fuck?" Like as they walk past me. You know, I Chris
Well,
is saying he
don't
wears a
they
mask
say
out of
that
respect.
regardless?
I do it out of respect
Yeah.
for other people too.
yeah, same here.
But all right, so
Anyway,
well, fuck you.
uh,
Does that mean that you don't believe that it helps prevent the spread of the disease?
me,
Am I the idiot or are you the idiot? Who's the idiot here?
yeah. See that this is how the argument thing works. This
Yeah.
is how
That's
we
what I'm
get
confused
divided.
about.
I want to say one last thing about why we're all at each other's throats, and it doesn't. I don't think it occurs to us three musketeers because I don't think any of us really care, but I think a lot of people have a lot of pent up, vicarious competition and aggression that's not being released by sports because sports are not happening.
That's
Wow.
a good point.
People got a lot of venting out of that process.
But when people,
of sport
when you,
fansmanship.
there is a lot of like missed love for sports, and none of us happen to be sports fans.
But
I have
it
talked
is
to
it is a way
sports
that
fans.
people do relieve aggression. It's like it harkens back to very old traditions. You know, it's like a testosterone release.
Yeah.
I got a couple
It's like
different
a
ways
little,
to do that.
you know, it's a little release valve for that, for some of that toxic masculinity in society. It really is.
I guess I just at this, as a discussion point, when you say that you wear the mask out of respect, I hear that a lot. But like, does that mean that you don't think you need to, and that it's not helpful? That
I
feel
think
like
that if
implies
I'm just taking a walk downtown and I'm not really going to be coming in close contact with anyone, no, I don't see why I should wear one. But I do, out of respect for other people who might feel
you're a-
differently.
little ninny cuck that's scared of getting a little bad boy cough disease. Wow.
I just think
Um,
I'd
cheers
rather
to
I'd rather lead by example and say, look, it's not that hard to do. You should do it and not pitch a fit about it, because I do believe it can help reduce infection. I also think we should just wear masks when we're sick anyway. Like in other countries, they do it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's normal.
Asian countries especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the idea of normalizing wearing the mask. You know, if post pandemic, I think that it'd be great
Yeah.
if people would do that as a courtesy to others around them,
I think
instead
that'll
of like
help.
taking a bunch of Dayquil and getting everyone sick. You know?
Sorry, I've been sick all week.
Yeah, that's why I get sick every
That's
fucking
pretty rude.
time Matt's sick. That disgusting little gremlin always coughing all over my stuff. But
Anyway,
yeah, I hope maybe that could be a benefit, a beneficial change that we see, when and if this whole fucking thing is over. But yeah, no, I wear a mask all the goddamn time, and I guess my last mask thing is Austin and I were talking about this earlier, but Austin, we've talked about it on the show before how he has this crazy nose breathing technique, his nose
Yeah,
breathing jutsu that he's trained me.
I religiously breathe through my nose.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that Austin specifically introduced me to, but it's something that I was like, well, I'm like, that sounds crazy, but then he told me more about it, and I'm like, that doesn't sound as crazy. So I feel like these years of kind of just trying to focus on just breathing out of my nose has really helped me with the mask thing, because I've like only one time have I felt difficulty breathing in the mask, and that's when I was wearing one that was way too tight and that wasn't very good. But other than that, like, I'm extremely comfortable wearing that mask, and I honestly like I enjoy a lot of it. Like, it's really nice to have like half your shit covered up, you know? If I had the mask on and these sunglasses, dude, I'd be riding high. I could put a hat on. Nobody would know who the fuck
Yeah,
I
you
was.
can burn down
All right.
anything.
All right, I am
Yeah.
gonna close this topic.
Alright. That was
'cause
rich,
we're,
though.
we're not getting anywhere. This is very bad. This is bad
It's a
content.
metaphor. It's a metaphor for the national discourse.
You're gonna get us all
Alright,
canceled.
But okay, so you brought up the Cuomo thing.
Right. I was just saying,
So-
do you think we're being too hard on the bars? And you turned it into a much more, a much bigger debate over, is
Well, it
this the
started with New
collapse of
York.
American civilization?
I think it's
Yes,
so
it is. That's why I'm doing this.
maybe fine people for not wearing masks indoors at the bar or something. You know, even if they're drunk. I don't know.
Right,
I'm not a legislator.
I think they're
but
being too hard on the
who
bars,
thing
but
is
I also
fucking
think
stupid.
that they got to do something. I think I think they're just trying to do something, and it's a law that is
Yeah.
pretty easy to comply with. I think
like
I think
health
it's
codes and
like
shit.
I think it's purposely. I think it's it's a neutered and sort of like ballless, kind of toothless law. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Which for if you own the bar, it's like great. Now I've got this chapping my ass,
right.
this toothless hoop to jump through. Great. Now this
Uh,
200-year-old bar in town is going to close because they didn't have enough chips.
You know, the other thing that, you know, I do worry about is, you know, are bars going to be able to comply with all these things? Are people going to want to deal with all this shit? And, you know, what kind of hits are small economies like ours going to take as these restrictions continue to affect business? I am very concerned about that, and I do think that if you watch the RoboCop trilogy, you will see one potential future for us.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Hey, Malone,
No.
sex offender, was accused of brandishing a knife. Now, this is the classic crash
This
report
is-
kind of story.
This is classico. I wish I had another bottle of this.
People
to
do
celebrate.
not tune into this show to watch us debate the finer points of the scamdemic, but rather they tune in to watch us talk about sex offenders. And do you think brandishing a knife is like menacing? You think
Oh,
brandishing
yes.
is similar to menacing?
We should have like
Do I think doing what is menacing?
Um,
crime
Do you
bingo.
think we're familiar with the
Or Jeopardy.
with the crime of menacing, right? We talked about it on the show several times.
Yeah, but what was the action in question?
Is menacing akin to brandishing?
Like
A
brandishing
knife?
a big scary knife that you're not sure what the person's gonna do with.
For someone
is
who's
that what
such a
you're asking
scaredy
me?
cat, you sure have a lot of fucking weapons.
That's why I am a scaredy cat, Matt.
Are they all like
It's,
Are
dull?
they all from
Uh,
the state fair?
this knife is from budkcatalog.com and it'll fuck you up, dude. This is probably the dullest knife in existence because I when I was a kid I used to use it. I'd go out into the woods and I would just hit trees and shit with it.
Okay.
That's what it is dull.
So, a registered sex offender is accused of brandishing a knife at a group of kids days after violating the Sex Offender Registration Act, say police. Kevin R. Mead, age 31, of Malone, failed to register as a sex offender, which is a felony, and also resisted arrest, which is also it's only a misdemeanor.
When you
Police
say that he
say
failed, it's like he tried, but it didn't work.
he tried.
I tried it. I sucked at it.
Yeah, the website kept crashing.
I
So
got
on-
hacked.
On Sunday, Malone Village police arrested Kevin. Police say he had to be subdued with an electronic control device.
Jesus, we're already in the dystopian future.
What do
I am the electronic controlling device.
you think that's a taser?
Don't move. I
Probably
think it's
Or do you think it's like a thing that like
microchip.
a sound gun that just blasts a certain frequency that makes you just like your knees just buckle and you just flop
Oops.
over?
Oh, he's having a heart attack. We turned it up too high.
Just looks like you got like a critical hit in Skyrim. Just
I think it's a little metal box. And what you peel off adhesive on one side, like it's a sticky tape, and there's a couple prongs sticking out of it, and they push it into your nutsack, and then it zaps you when you're being a bad boy.
So he was at Flanders Elementary School playground on East Main Street in the village of Malone.
Did it feel like he was wearing nothing at all?
And I was gonna say, can we please
Nothing at
refrain
all.
from making a bad Flanders reference? Further
No such
investigation revealed.
Chocolate milkshakes.
Further
That'll
investigation.
plan. Sorry. Continue, please. I'm begging you.
No, sit in that one for a minute.
Oh, it feels bad.
You look like
Alright.
that, and you yelled dental plan.
don't. If I can put
Spinner
I'll put
burgers.
salty lemony juice in my cup, Matt. I'm just trying to have a good show, and you're hurting my feelings.
Further investigation revealed that he had approached a group of kids playing basketball and tried to sell them drugs.
Hey kids, want to buy some fucking drugs?
So after that, an altercation ensued between Mead and a 15-year-old individual. After that altercation,
What?
an altercation ensued between Mead, the sex offender, and a 15-year-old. After the first altercation, he approached the group again with a knife and brandished the knife at them.
He's threatening to stab them
And
because they
it's
wouldn't buy his
creepy.
drugs.
I'm not really sure what happened exactly, but according to the state sex offender registry, he was convicted of third-degree rape of a 14-year-old. Yes.
Yikes.
So I wish I had a photo of him. Kevin R. Mead out in Malone. I'm assuming this guy is
Wow.
very mentally ill.
Yeah.
I don't think he's well.
Yeah,
And
man, if
any
you're gonna sell
hot
drugs
takes
to
on that?
people-
Yo, you got no really funny ha-has for that joke? For that joke?
I
For
thought
that
of-
story?
I thought of a couple, but I didn't want them to be. I didn't want a joke to be at the I don't know. Whenever you make a joke about those events, it can sometimes be at the expense of the victim, and I don't want to do that.
Okay,
Um,
well,
What's your favorite Krusty the Clown line?
yeah, Andrew does say that a lot, actually. Not that. No, you say. Anyway,
Pretty good. Krusty.
hey, has anybody else missed the McDonald's on Lake Champlain?
Every day.
Yes.
That's where that was where I had my first ever experience with infectious disease, was in that ball pit.
Ugh. So they were closed for renovations, I believe, right? But they're reopening next month.
Wasn't
They got demolished, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say rebuilding.
Oh,
Yeah, they blew that shit
Complete
right
rebuilding.
down.
well, so
They smashed all the Batman Forever commemorative mugs. Sledgehammer.
No. They had the last working, functioning statue of Moon Man. They had to take it down.
you just outed yourself as a racist troll. His name is Mac Knight.
Hey, we talk about Moon Man on every episode of this show.
Moon Man is
He
what
does
is
the intro song.
Moon Man is what the racists call him, but his real name is Mac Tonight.
I can in my head canon they are two different people, because I don't want my beautiful Doug Jones playing. Is it Adam Jones? No, Doug Jones is the actor that plays Mac Tonight.
And
I don't want him to be
please-
spoiled.
So, okay.
What?
Hey, so here's some great writing, and I feel like what's happening on this show, probably because of the really good champagne, is I'll say something, and then Austin and Andrew will both compete to see who can do the better joke, but neither joke gets time to breathe or be responded to.
It's
Like-
like we're live again.
Like Austin will go to make the joke, and then before anyone can even laugh at it, Andrew's right in there with another joke.
Yeah, man, it's a nonstop comedy hour.
Well, Mickey
Let's get a
D,
laugh track.
I'm gonna sit out every
And I-
other story.
and also
Do
every
nothing.
time I do try to get back into it, I get interrupted.
I never know when you're gonna start. There's a lag.
That's the crash report magic. That's the crash.
So this is an article from Press Republican I want to share with you. It's written by Mackenzie Delisle, who we do call Mickey D. Sometimes. Is that true?
We do call her Mickey D. It's a perfect circle.
So
Personally.
Mickey D writing about Mickey D's, and this is how she opens it up, and this is classic Delisle, all right? The McDonald's
All right.
on Lake Champlain will reopen next month and hopes to leave the Clinton County American Legion Committee singing "I'm Lovin' It."
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yes.
You know
I was a little
J-Tim
flat
wrote
on
that?
last one. Justin Timberlake wrote "Ba-da-ba-ba-ba." I'm loving it.
Yeah.
No, he
Really?
didn't.
Yeah, I believe he did.
I'm gonna fact check that.
I'm actually
I'm gonna fact check that right now.
I'm a pretty big fan.
This stream is about to get like one of those like
Honestly-
preview things on Facebook where it says like some of this information is incorrect.
So the restaurant chain has partnered with the Clinton County American Legion Committee. They're going to be donating. What is it? They're going to be donating a portion of sales from their opening day to the Legion, which that's a nice move for McDonald's.
Matt, it's a hoax. It says rapper Pusha T wrote McDonald's "I'm Loving It" jingle, not Justin
Are
Timberlake
you
and Pharrell.
serious?
Yeah, man, from the RollingStone.com. Pusha T wrote
it?
the ubiquitous "I'm Loving It" jingle for McDonald's. His representative confirmed to Rolling Stone in 2016.
I'm looking at a Pitchfork.com article that says it's inclusive.
Hey, Rolling Stone magazine is where I get all of my news, and they've never once been wrong.
Was he a ghostwriter for a Justin Timberlake thing? Like, was it?
into my eyes.
You know, was it something where he was working with Justin Timberlake on it?
Sorry, I just saw Ghost Rider interacting with Hank Hill. Oh.
All right. Well, it's funnier in your head.
It is way funnier in my head, and that's why I enjoyed it. I don't know. This article is really big and long because all the writers at Rolling Stone are 5,000 years old. And they need. Oh, it's not actually that long.
All right,
just says that-
Andrew, I don't care.
Okay,
So a
so-
woman was
You
arrested.
asked me
Don't say you
about it.
never- Alright.
I asked you about it,
Okay.
but you started complaining about having to read. So
it's really long.
I decided to cut you off.
Alright, yeah, no, it was Pusha T.
And I told you I don't care. I don't
Well.
believe you.
You don't believe me?
Fake news. I'm calling it right now. A
Wow.
Crown Point woman was arrested on Sunday night. Did you hear about this? Did you guys see there was a big police chase going through downtown?
Heard about
I
it.
heard about it, but I
On
didn't.
Facebook.
Bizarrely, I didn't experience it. And usually, anything that happens down here, especially a car chase, loud as shit, and I hear it.
So, at approximately 10 p.m., state police observed the woman who is Victoria J. Blowers, aged 33. 33. Think about the significance of those numbers as I read the rest of this article. State police observed her 2015 Hyundai Accent parked and running in the Valcour rest area in the town of Peru, and she was unconscious in the driver's seat. So they tried to get her to get out of the car. They noticed she had several empties with her. Empties being empty alcohol containers.
Oh, I thought you meant Red Bull.
And she wouldn't get out of the car, and instead, she hit a trooper with her car, and then drove through I-87 and hit Peru, Plattsburgh, and Beekmantown before driving into the city of Plattsburgh. She stopped on Halsey Court, and again struck the trooper with her vehicle when she drove off.
She struck a trooper vehicle, or she struck a
me.
trooper on foot?
With her vehicle.
So-
It doesn't say if they were in their vehicle or not, but I'm assuming they
Lied
were in the
twice
vehicle.
with law enforcement in 2 different places. You're saying?
Yes.
My God.
So she was stopped again in the Kinney's parking lot on Boynton Ave, where she again refused to exit the vehicle, and a trooper deployed his division-issued taser. The injured trooper was
Electronic control
transported.
device?
It might be, although, yeah, she's at CPH for a report of leg numbness and chest pain. She refused to submit to testing to determine the alcohol and/or drug content of her blood. She was charged with second-degree assault, which is a felony, third-degree assault, and third-degree unlawfully fleeing a police officer in a motor vehicle, and a DWI.
She refused the alcohol test. How can you do that?
I think that she was in the hospital and refused the testing in the hospital.
Oh,
I think it's different than if they. Also, I think you can refuse.
I think you can refuse it in the field, but they might have to take you into custody or something to do it at
Yeah,
the
but
station.
the thing is, if I get pulled over and I don't want to do the breathalyzer, they might be like, well, we're gonna have to take you in because we suspect that I
Yeah.
would just hit the cop with my car and drive through 3 different towns and eventually
Well, before you get out,
before I
Or you'd
and
get back
I'd wind
in.
up at Kinney's.
do a U-turn.
Yeah, do a
toward
Yui,
them.
pull a Yui.
Yeah, stop to get to some backwoods.
I gotta roll a blunt. Actually, Can you match me on this blunt? All I have is this one tiny nug that someone left on my couch.
you got a couch nug, dude?
I think it was Bruce of the Mountain Carol was sitting on my couch rolling joints and left weed all over the couch. I just vacuumed it up. North Country schools are struggling with pandemic plans and confusion. In the wake of state-issued interim guidance for reopening schools this fall, local superintendents were left with many questions. Governor Cuomo announced that school districts located in the regions that both are in phase 4 of reopening and have daily infection rates of below 5% over a 14-day average may proceed. If the regional infection rate rises above 9% using a 7-day average after August 1st, all schools in that region will close. Clinton, Essex,
easy.
and Franklin counties are in the North Country region
It's
together.
easy to understand. I can
Yeah.
get behind that.
Yeah,
Very
so
clear.
they are confused. Mask wearing is strongly encouraged at all times and mandatory when 6 feet of social distancing is not possible. Although the Department of Health understands that masks may need to be removed for short periods, such as eating and instruction, if students are properly distanced.
That's so stupid.
What is?
The idea of reopening schools right now.
Well, so I watched the 40-minute interview that Trump did over, I think on Sunday with Chris
I wanted
Wallace.
You watched all three RoboCop movies
Yes.
at the same time.
simultaneously to compare them.
So he said that if schools don't open, he's going to cut federal funding.
To the schools.
Yeah, he's like, if they delay their opening, we're not going to fund them at all.
I've had people tell me that they're just keeping their kid out of school. They're just gonna homeschool them until this whole thing blows over.
You know,
Maybe.
I'll bet a lot of parents are going to be homeschooling. It's going to create a whole generation of weirdos.
Bunch of creeps.
Yeah,
I
so
would say, anecdotally, everyone I've met who's homeschooled is smarter than the average person I meet, by my own judgment.
Yeah, that's my findings as well.
yeah, but you also think
They're
that
also
they're
total
weirder
weird.
too?
Not always. They're
Not
generally more
always,
quiet.
No, I don't think so.
I think probably more than the
Is that Bill
average.
Clinton?
Yes, they're more likely to be weird.
So they are
I would
more likely
acknowledge
to be
that.
weird.
But I think they're probably like, I don't know. I think it's probably better. Like, if it can be done, if it's someone who wants to homeschool, maybe they're like, the only weirdness might be from them not socializing enough out of school, which you can fix by socializing them more. In my
Nobody wants to hang
non-kid-
out with the weird homeschool kid.
join community theater, okay?
Unless
So-
he has
Do
Fortnite.
the Music Man.
So
Do Hamilton.
No,
on
don't
ice.
do any of that. So the State Department of Education issued a 145-page opening guidelines document earlier this week. 145-page, although it is in a 65-point font.
That's pretty big.
It's pretty big. I don't know if you guys use fonts, but that's pretty big on a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. No,
Yeah,
but
that's
so basically, they're worried. They're worried about transporting the kids. They're worried about the funding. They're worried about if they will be able to open. They're worried about if they, how are they? They're worried. They don't know what they're going to do exactly. Everything seems like there's some things they feel confident about, like the sanitizing and stuff. They feel like they got a grip on, but
Oh yeah,
Um,
kids love to maintain their hygiene.
Lick everything.
but there's uncertainty on how it relates to middle school, high school, elementary kids.
Have you guys interacted with any like middle or high school kids during this whole thing?
I doubt it.
They suck ass. They're just apathetic to it because they're kids. I can't even blame them for it. But like the mask wearing is just as abysmal as it is from the adults.
That sucks.
No.
Like all your friends are being weird to you lately.
None of my friends are cool anymore, dude.
All your Tinder dates.
That's why we have so few. That's why I have so few viewers.
I feel
I-
really bad for kids right now because they've already been fucked up in their conditioning from Screen World,
Yeah.
and kids never have a great attention span. But I teach music to kids on a private basis, which gives me also a certain perspective on this whole thing. But I teach kids, and it seems like they already had trouble focusing because of all their goddamn iPads and video games. But
God damn it!
now it's like they can't even do the thing I said earlier, socializing. They're gonna, like, they're getting depressed, they're gaining weight, they're not hanging out with other kids as much. They're not, like, there's nothing to fill the void, and they need to be around people.
It's so hard to hear you talking because you just look like a cyclops.
You're slowly
You
disappearing.
don't listen with your eyes.
Did you steal my Bang Bros password?
What the hell is Brazzers?
Bobby, what is xnxx.com?
But
What the hell is a
Any-
book? A buck baki
anywho.
key?
I feel bad for them. And yeah, there's some apathy, but there's just impatience and misunderstanding, and it's sad.
It is
Socially,
sad.
this is rough for the kids. It's already like, yeah, even I'm generously younger than you two ancient fellows, and I spent a lot of my life, and I still do screens, and I was, I didn't like socializing. I mean, I was okay at it, but I wasn't great at it. I didn't have tons of friends. I had enough, but I imagine this stunting that in addition to the prominence of like chilling out on your phone, playing like only like interacting with your friends like online and stuff like that, playing games together. I don't like to be a doomsayer, but yeah, it's probably going to make it worse. But I
Yeah.
also don't. I think
Here's
that,
what I'll
that
say. Well,
Here,
unless you want to
what-
finish your thought.
I guess my thought is that I think that might just be the new normal, is that we're going to be these techno individuals that aren't as physically social, which I don't know. We're going to be dead by the time it's more like that, but whatever.
I think that was a trajectory. Here's what I'll say, based on what I find works for my life as a
how do
basically
you
a
reach
private
those
tutor.
kids?
How do
Yeah,
I reach
how do
these
you balance
teens?
work and family?
How do I have a work-life balance? But I've seen this suggested here and there, but I really think that like a private tutor type system, we'll see how much anarchic chaos happens from the whole school system. But if you're still interested in some kind of, because school is daycare for many people anyway. It's not
Yeah.
just about learning, but people aren't going to be able to go to work if they have to teach their kids, and if people aren't working, then the economy suffers. All this stuff, but
Yeah.
I do think you can cut down on class size, and I think you can actually get a really good price as a parent to just pay a teacher to tutor your kid or a small manageable group of kids in a small unit that is not engaged with 1,000 people in a big building on the government dollar.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's realistic because I've lived it.
I believe that's good in some places.
Right. It's not, it would have to be
but-
adapted wherever it can. But
Yeah, I
I
feel
think that's a realistic solution for some,
for some
maybe many, maybe even many.
I hesitate because I just thinking about like I'm thinking about the public schools in Syracuse. It's like,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, they probably weren't great to begin with.
no, yeah,
And
well,
I think that
whatever.
the system I'm describing will be incredibly fractured.
Yeah, I
Less
don't
fractured than homeschooling, but it's like, do you really like, for one thing, do you really like the daycare brainwashing of most public schooling?
No, I think the schools have failed us, and I think that it's. I'm not sure the best way out. I guess I mean to say that if we were to tunnel our way out of the hole that the public schools have dug for the last 100 years or more, it's gonna be a very messy excavation with plenty of casualties, and I think there's no way to cleanly undo the damage that public school has done to our society. And I that might sound a little paranoid or something, but it's like, we did have a society before public schools. There are other ways to handle things,
Yeah.
and there are plenty of ways that we have seen the public school system fail our children, and I'm probably fail ourselves if we were products of that system.
Yeah.
So
Everything.
yeah,
Basically
you're putting it
everything
out
is
there. I just don't want it to seem like I do endorse that idea. I would love to see it happen more. I'd love to see a shift toward that. It'd be the kind of thing where we'd have to accept it's gonna be fucked up for a lot of people if we do try to move away from, public school.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing the comments here. I was speaking to one of my old high school teachers, and what they were planning to do was have each kid report to their homeroom, and that's where they would stay for the entire school day, lunch and all. The days would only be an hour shorter, but I feel like that would be so awful. They'd be subjected to health checks before entering the building. Ugh.
That sounds like
Oh.
academic murder of kids that have attention disorders.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
school is like that anyway. You know,
I mean,
Academic murder.
all throughout
academic
elementary school,
assassination.
don't you stay in mostly one room?
Is that what AA
Yeah.
is?
And what?
I don't know.
Austin?
For one thing, I thought in elementary school, at least in my experience, most of the time you're in one room.
Elementary school, I'd say yes.
Oh, elementary.
And so
yeah,
you're
that-
used to
that's
it anyway
fair.
if you're transitioning to high school. Secondly, I mean, the precursor to our school system as it is was one-room schoolhouses, not only with one room but mixed grades,
Yeah.
where like the higher grades would help the lower grades. Anyway,
Yes.
you know, it's like it was already more mixed before when people were using extremely verbose language when they're like 12 and smoking pipes.
And we're
You know.
dying in factories.
Yeah, well, that too.
All right.
You
So
take the good with the bad.
Ah,
Uh,
the good old days.
I mean, as much as I'd love to talk about school forever, we are nearing the end of our time here on
I
the
wish I
Crash
could
Report.
be in school forever.
We did get into a really long discussion this week about the scamdemic, and
Stop fucking saying that.
you said it first.
I didn't say scamdemic on this episode.
You did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, the Zuckbot is hearing us saying that, and he's gonna kill our reach, Matt. We're not gonna be able to reach the people.
Listen, I gotta
You
reach
gotta
for
be
you.
co-
I'm gonna reach through the fucking screen and wring your fucking pencil neck in a minute here.
Bring it on.
Oh
I got a
my.
knife. I got a gun. I got
No
this
more drinking.
11% drink that we're drinking here.
One
Yeah, I
night.
gotta say, I don't
One
love
gun.
this, but
I think
do...
it tastes really bad, Austin.
Oh, I think it tastes good. I wish I had a better glass. You're not supposed to drink this out of the bottle. It aerates differently.
Yeah.
People say that, and I
Yeah.
never experience a difference.
That's because you're uncultured. And so,
Yes, that's probably it.
although really, if you did have a drink that was supposed to be aerated in a certain kind of glass, and you did I think if you did direct AB with the right drink, you'd be able to sense it.
Yeah.
Uh,
The time I noticed it the most was leaving a beer in the fridge overnight. I was like, damn, this is so much better today.
so, I do want to say thanks for watching. We will be off next week.
That's right. We will be doing artistic things.
Yes, the Mountain Carol is a band that Austin and I are in, and Andrew is not allowed in. And
They kicked me out.
he keeps asking to like, can I just like do like drum extra drums?
I'll
Like-
play extra drums.
Like Slipknot has it.
I can play steel drums. Bing, 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 bing.
I could do
bong, bong,
creative percussion. We will be live at Robot Dog Studio. I think it goes live at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I can't remember. But we'll be out there in Burlington, Vermont, broadcasting a live performance from the safety of a well-disinfected, clean, sterile studio space.
Are we
I
going to be
fucking-
singing with masks on?
I
Are we gonna
will
have to
not
trust
be
each other
singing.
like
thought you
unprotected
guys-
coitus?
I thought you guys didn't sing or
Trust.
play any instruments. I thought that you have another way of describing what you're doing, because that sounds like a construct of the American capitalist culture.
Right, we do call it manifesting infinity.
Destiny.
Oh, really?
okay.
I was calling it the Hello Kitty
Yes.
hour.
No, yeah, we do call it manifesting destiny. That's what.
Right, a tribute to our 11th president.
And so,
Joking
Now it's
aside, yeah, fucking Robot Dog Studios. You should really check him out. He's been doing some really awesome stuff during all of this. I can't wait to see you guys show it. All of the live performances so far have been so good and well shot, and they sound awesome.
yeah, it's really good. It's a lot better than the guy sitting in front of his laptop mic kind of live streams that I'm glad people are trying to find a way to do it, but I would say if you love your craft, find a way to make your streams look and sound better.
Like ours.
I think ours. I think we do maintain a certain quality, except
I think a
this week.
certain quality is what you would need to aim for.
So maybe we'll come in on like a Sunday or a Tuesday and try to do a catch up episode. But
Alright.
other than that, we're gonna be off next week. And if you want to support the show again, please check out the Patreon. It'd be great if we can get to 100 subs on Patreon.
Yeah, 50 Patreon
Floppiest
patrons.
show
Thanks.
yet.
And
Thank
be on
you
the
all.
lookout for some new content starring Nick, Survival Nick of the Mental Health Survival Guide, coming on the TBN network very soon. Probably next week, actually. We're doing some more shooting this week.
Baby go boom,
Poopy.
Boom, boom.
boom, boom.
Stop. I'm sorry. I got so excited today. I forgot to put Camden Ellis in the credits as Camden's Patreon subscriber number 50. That's the whole reason we were celebrating. And I didn't load up the correct credits on screen, so I'm making a verbal note. All right, bye.
All right,
What?
bye.
Oh, did you have something great to say?
Yeah, he only subscribed because he was on the show.
I don't. Sorry, I went back. I don't think that's true. And do you remember when you invited him on the show and then didn't tell him when or where it would be? And then we're like, "What? You didn't show up, dude?"
Good night, everybody.